In Kentucky, we don't just take chances, we bet big. This month, I'm sitting down with 4 Kentuckians who made 4 bold moves and asking one question: what was the biggest bet that you ever took on yourself? This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Town & Country Ford. No matter where life's adventures lead you, Town & Country Ford is along for the ride. So how many different jobs would you say you've had in 30 years there? How many different positions?
All that's behind the scenes, and we're working so closely with the FBI, Secret Service, Homeland Security, every single agency.
What's the trick to making sure that you are the sacred keeper of 150 plus years history and making sure that you evolve a live sporting event?
Now we've got a huge social media team that comes out and they put out posts that may not necessarily have anything to do with horse racing.
Right.
It may be about the fashion, it may be about the food, the pageantry. So there's so many other elements that make this such a cultural event than just a 2-minute horse race.
Today we're going inside the walls of an American icon, the Kentucky Derby at Churchill Downs. And my guest is someone that literally knows where every single brick is in the place. Mike Anderson is the president of Churchill Downs Racetrack. He started there 30 years ago, started from one position and has slowly worked his way up to the man now with the best seat in the house. Mike, welcome to the Best Bet podcast.
Thank you, Claudia. So happy to be here. I'm a little nervous. This is my first podcast.
Oh,
so
my gosh.
I'm a rookie. Be gentle on me now.
Don't worry. Well, I'll mess up more than you is usually what I tell people. I think in this day and age, to talk to somebody that has been with such a storied brand for 30 years.
Going to 30, yeah.
Like when you first started there, did you ever think this is going to be my long run job? This is like end game.
No, not at all. I'm not a gambler. I wasn't necessarily a horse racing enthusiast before I started there.
You're a numbers guy.
I'm a numbers guy, so they hired me to.
Nobody better to be in the game of gambling than the numbers
guy.
So
I'd never realized 30 years later I'd still be at the same company, but it's been a fantastic employer for me.
But you grew up in Kentucky?
I did. I'm a Louisville native, so
growing up with the Derby was a big part of your life.
Yeah, I was in my parents' backyard. My mother grew up off Southern Parkway, and my father grew up off Taylor Boulevard, so kind of bookending the Churchill kind of property. So rode my bike around Churchill Downs neighborhoods when I was younger at my grandparents' house. But it's in my blood since I'm from Louisville.
So growing up, what were Kentucky Derbies like for you in the neighborhood?
Parties. It was
backyard parties, not
backyard
like
parties.
On the property parties. Like
it was at my house, at my parents' house, or it was a friend's house, or we would travel across the city to a friend's house for that. So never went to the track until I was in college. So it was.
Let me guess. Were you in the infield?
I think I remember.
You don't remember. You don't remember.
I do remember it snowed that year. It was the year it snowed and sleeted, and I was in there. That was my first time. So
I love talking to people about their memories of Kentucky Derby. Like mine too were. We couldn't afford to go to the races, back then, a luxury. I mean, I know it's like a bucket list item today, but it was like something unique that an event like that, and I'm curious if you really see it now sitting where you're sitting, that is such a cultural event for people that are from here, that live here, that we would plan these parties. We would sell our little betting tickets around the neighborhood. We would plan potlucks. Like, it is so much a part of the fabric of this community. Like, how do you look on that now and the pride you take in not only planning what you do at the track, but knowing what it means to the community?
Absolutely. It is still that same feeling, that cultural phenomenon that when I was growing up and hoping to draw the horse, the winning horse, so you'd win a prize or money, even when I was.
Did you put like the pieces of paper folded up like in the pot?
I would do that for my
family.
So but it's an honor to be a steward of my position. I know the Derby is bigger than me. It's bigger than any one individual. So I'm proud to lead a team in this time frame, and I know there will be plenty of other leaders after me that will carry the torch, just as like I'm carrying it now. So I often talk to some coworkers and say, my job is to not screw this thing up. So 151 years of success, continuously held sporting event that I just want to make better and make an imprint on the history books. But certainly it's not about me. It's about everybody's celebration and the cultural event that is the Derby.
In those early years, was there a bet that you made on yourself where you took the road less traveled there that you thought, I can rise up through the ranks here, or I want to really be in this organization for a long time?
I think just I got bored so it was finance controller when I started. And
what does that mean? What did you do then?
So I kept the books.
Yeah.
So we're a public company, so I did all the financial statements. And so after a couple of years, I'm looking around going, hey, that job looks interesting. So if someone would leave or if we'd have to have a downsize, I would raise my hand and say, hey, you don't need to pay me more money, but I would like to try investor relations, or I'd like to try treasury, and they would give me these opportunities to do a new job. And I just love that. So I would just bounce around doing more and more jobs because I didn't like to sit and do the same routine pattern over and over again. Mm-hmm. And Churchill was great at giving me an opportunity to do that.
So how many different jobs would you say you've had in 30 years there? How many different positions?
Finance roles, I probably had 5 or 6, treasury, investor relations, and some I did some corporate communications, risk management, and I jumped over to operations side, which was a whole different world, and did that just for a few years before I got this job. So,
do you think it benefited you in the long run from where you sit now that you understand what all these different jobs, how they all come together to make things successful?
Yes, absolutely.
And how, from a respect point of view, I feel like do they understand you differently or listen to you differently because you understand what role that they've been in?
I think they do. I think they understand if, you used to do risk management, so you used to dabble in this, or you understand the finance world, you understand the operations world. So absolutely, all those roles helped me get to where I am today. And they had the confidence in me to put me in this position, and I'm going on my 6th Derby as president, so still going strong.
So you took the reins as president in 2020. What a year to be taking over the reins of that. Take me back through that time. What was going through your mind is that opportunity? That was an odd year. You didn't even have a Derby in May. You had it, in September?
September 5th, yeah. First Saturday in September. So I wasn't part of leading the team at that point. Kevin Flannery, God love him, was still in that position. And I think he had originally intended to retire after the May Derby. And then when that got pushed because of COVID, he stuck around and closed it out and completed the September and then announced his retirement. So I came in the tail end of Kevin's reign, still in COVID, still had to be 6 feet apart and social distance and work with the governor's office on how we were going to have Derby in 2021. But it was an interesting time to start that position in the kind of the tail end of COVID, but it was fascinating, and I loved every minute of it.
So many guests I've spoke to made these big pivots in their career in 2020. They said there was something about emerging from that time period that the game shifted, no matter their industry, whether they were a TV chef, whether they were in communications or industries like at rapid fire speed, like something changed. Did you feel kind of that need and that shift to change the way you all do things there at the track? That, wait a minute, people's interests are different. We have to start thinking differently. There was something happened in that time. I don't know what was in the water.
I think we all changed. I think we had the choice. One of the main things was this all-inclusive package. So in 21 Derby, we had restriction by, the government office saying you can't have full capacity in May of 21. So we're like, okay, how can we reduce touch points for people? If they're walking around with masks and they have to stay 6 feet apart. So we went to this all-inclusive food and beverage model. So we put the price in the ticket, but now you can go grab a beer, grab a hot dog, grab a water, wherever, whenever you want on the front side of the track. So there was no lines for food and beverage. And people had rave reviews after that. So when we did the after action reports, like, okay, we know we did this for COVID, but people really love this all-inclusive model. Let's keep it going. So we kept it going and continually get rave reviews on that model. So we're still in their all-inclusive model today.
What is the trick to making sure that you are the sacred keeper of 150 plus years history and making sure that you evolve a live sporting event to the demands of not only you're thinking of spectators that are there, you're thinking of the live viewing audience too, that you're thinking of two paths of people that are enjoying this whole event.
Yeah, that's
without messing it up. So
without
don't screw it up.
It's difficult, but what we love more than anything is respecting our heritage and traditions and continuing to make sure we honor our past.
Yeah.
But secondarily, and most importantly, is to create new traditions to engage the younger generations to continue to want to be interested in the Derby, not just because it's their parents' pastime and the Derby parties they went to, but we want to engage the 20 and 30-year-olds, and which includes my 4 kids, all in their 20s. So they're telling me what's interesting and what's not. Social media is a big part of that. Yeah. So we have to engage with not only the Facebook type of audience, but we have now go to Instagram and TikTok. And as you well know, there's a bigger audience out there that we've got to engage. So I think it's...
And they have different interests than people that are spectators in the audience and then people that are watching on linear TV.
Absolutely.
There's like a couple of different lanes to that.
Absolutely. So we have 20 million plus on NBC traditional broadcast. So that's kind of the core people who've been watching Derby since they were young kids. But now we've got a huge social media team that comes out and they put out posts that may not necessarily have anything to do with horse racing.
Right.
It may be about the fashion, it may be about the food, the pageantry. So there's so many other elements that make this such a cultural event than just a 2-minute horse race. And that's what we got to latch onto. What do people want? We have to listen to what they want and then give them what they want with whatever product we can put out there.
You had to be sweating when they redid the Paddock. What was that, like $300 million?
It was.
300. You're like, I'm still counting numbers, Claudia. Wow. That was renovated down to, like, I remember thinking, are they going to finish? Are they going to finish? But it was one that you had to take a step back from, because talk about preserving heritage and culture, that to see the twin spires, that paddock sets up this clear, beautiful view of the iconic twin spires in a way that I didn't fully expect. And I thought, oh no, what are they going to do? Are they going to, don't mess it up. Did you take a step back out of that and think, we did it, and boy, did we do it.
Yes. The picturesque view now that you have coming in the paddock gate is just awesome. You get to see the horses right in front of you and the recessed paddock, and then above the twin spires, which we didn't have 3 years ago with this big building blocking your view. So really opened up the views. It was nerve-wracking because we are sort of touching this building that was built in 1895 when we built the twin spires. So we don't want to mess with the Twin Spires building, the original jockey club that's been there for so long. So we're taking a saw and cutting things down and making sure we're preserving the original brickwork. And so when it all comes out, it was beautiful, but it certainly was a little touch and go for me.
I will put on a hard hat and go down here and finish this thing myself.
It was, but it's one of my favorite projects. It's really open, not just for Derby Day, but for everybody every day. So I can't tell you how many times people are driving on I-65 north or south. They'll pop off the highway, come to the gate, and just start taking pictures. And that's the only thing they do. It's a place where people want to see these twin spires and what it's all about.
most fans see the hats, the horses, the beautiful new paddock, but from an insider's point of view, what is the most complex logistical challenge that happens during Derby week that the public never ever sees?
Probably the coordination between our internal team and external public safety. So we're rated what's called a Tier 2 event. So it's a rating that Homeland Security issues to all big events, special event assessment rating. And we're rated a 2, 1 being the highest, which would be like a Democratic National Convention or Republican National Convention. So we get federal authorities assigned to us that help us. So we have, I can't tell you how many
You're stressing me out right
federal,
now.
state, and local. We have so many
This is not hats, juleps, and
public
horses
agencies
anymore. Oh my
involved,
gosh.
and we're all communicating like one team together, saying, here are the risks associated with today, whether it's, public unrest or politicians that may decide to venture to the track. So we're all that's behind the scenes, and we're working so closely with the FBI, Secret Service, Homeland Security, every single agency, that it seems so streamlined to me that how we can accomplish that. But it's because of the repetition that we have every year. We have the same people involved for the most part. LMPD is a huge part of that as our local partner. But we've gotten really good at it, and we're getting better and better.
Those meetings must start, over a year in advance?
I think our first one was in June last summer to prepare for this Derby.
And does it change each year slightly? Like in ways that you can't even discuss with like a limited amount of team, of how, like from a security standpoint, we're going to adjust and shift things each year?
It changes slightly here and there, especially if we get a politically exposed person, a politician, a foreign dignitary from Europe or the Middle East. That changes the things a lot.
And those are things that typically, that's not made available even to the public. No. I never know if certain politicians are there or dignitaries from around the world. You see the celebs on your screen, but a lot of the other higher security, the public wouldn't even know. Yeah, and you don't really want them to know.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
We want the customer to have the best time they can, and we're all behind the scenes making sure we're on the radio and making sure we get things cleared out for those people that need extra security. So it's probably the most fascinating thing that I've been part of, and appreciate public safety so much.
Right.
LMPD and all their hard work they do, as well as the federal agencies.
All right. We have the team to do it. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, more with Mike Anderson. I grew up in a Ford family. My dad worked at the Louisville Ford assembly plant. And it wasn't just a brand for us, it was a way of life. And that's the thing about Ford, is that they're woven into a part of our culture here in Kentucky and across America. So no matter where life's adventures may take you, Town & Country Ford is along for the ride. Welcome back to The Best Bet. I'm sitting down with Mike Anderson. He's the president of Churchill Downs, the man behind the scenes that helps put together the 152nd Kentucky Derby year after year, the longest continuous running live sporting event in the country.
Yes.
Still to this day.
Still this day.
Longer than Indy 500, not even that long.
No. Yeah.
No, they didn't have cars then.
We
had horses before we had
we always
cars.
associate the Westminster Dog Club, Kennel Club.
That's your only competitor in that space?
Ranked number 2. If you consider that a sporting event, which is a stretch.
Right.
But that's been going on for, I think, 150 years now, and we're 151. So continuously held annual sporting event.
It's the one race where, in the one sporting event, I have family that are in Germany, and they don't know, no offense to the other, Triple Crown from the Preakness to the Belmont, but what is it you think about the Kentucky Derby that makes it the standout of the three, that everybody notices the Southern flair and the fashion and everything down to the drink? It is such a universally, globally known race, an event.
I think it's a combination of all the above. It's again, some people who track the horses, they know the best 3-year-old horses are at Churchill Downs on that day, bar none. but other people who are just more interested on what celebrities are there, what the fashion is, what hat piece you're wearing, what suits you're wearing, what food is being rolled out this year for the first time. It's the history, it's the signature drink, the mint julep, or the Oaks Lily. So I think it's a combination of all the history, the fashion, the pageantry, the want to be seen live national television. I think all that wrapped up into one package consistently over and over that's relevant for people that they want to keep coming back for more, whether it's at home at their derby parties, watching on NBC, or they're physically at the track or want to be at the track on their bucket list. So,
and it's like you said before, don't screw it up, because there's like so many, those key elements really don't need to change ever, which is fascinating that you can like keep something so preserved through the years and it still be so religiously followed.
Yeah, and we put out a style guide. So if you want to know how to dress, we've got a style guide book that shows what the fashion is that we should be wearing for this derby.
Yeah. Do you stress over what you're wearing that week ever? Or do you like what is your go-to, and do you just have everything like at the office?
I have everything.
I would say you probably don't leave the office.
I stay at the office a lot. So my wife and my daughter prepare all my suits for like a week's worth of time. They label it, or my daughter would take pictures of it and text it to me. Oh my God. I'd take them all to work at once and then just pull it off the rack that morning.
That's a great idea.
So
that's a great idea.
I do stress, but I don't need to, because it's all.
They got you. They got you. You have good daughters. So after nearly 3 decades, is there a specific save or behind the scenes moment where you stopped and thought, I cannot believe we just pulled that off?
So I'll just take the most recent history last year, Oaks Day. We had a bit of a wind event.
Oh, that's right.
So we had a little delay in the schedule right before the Oaks race. So, our executive team grouped together in a room, and we're watching everything. We're listening to the National Weather Service. We're talking to Jody Myman from Emergency Management Services. So we're making decisions on the fly when the storm's coming in 10 minutes, 8 minutes. And we made the decision to evacuate the infield the race before the Oaks. So for the safety of our customers and our horses, we made the right call. We, paused racing, evacuated the infield, got everybody into the front side, either through the tunnels or on the front part of the track. So that's the most recent example I could say that it was very stressful, and what do we do right? What did we do wrong? But I think overall it turned out well, and, got the Oaks off. I think it was only 7 minutes late. Mm-hmm. So we worked with NBC and making sure that's on, at that time, Bravo last year, but making sure it was on TV. And so it was something we still talk about today on After Action on, hey, this happened. It can happen again. Let's prepare for it. Let's plan for it. And we just had a tabletop exercise yesterday to plan for the unexpected. So
I can't remember the last time the infield was evacuated during Derby week, really, honestly, when I think about it.
There was another instance, yeah.
I don't want to think about it, but it's happened before?
Yes. We've had another instance in, it was 2008.
Okay.
Where we were getting a ton of rainfall, and we were moving people around to avoid disaster there. So weather happens.
It happens, and it's a tricky space. I know people, if you're watching it on TV, you're thinking, oh, surely there's tunnels and evacuation shelters. It's a tricky space to evacuate people to where safely.
It is.
Because they wouldn't be safe there. They've got to go someplace else. Is there a particular Derby race in recent memory that for you, not being a guy that wasn't a trainer, wasn't in horse racing, wasn't a gambler, in recent years that you're like, this was one of the best races that I've seen? Or do you even get to see the races because of all the work you're doing that week?
I get to see the races now in my position. Before that, I did not. I was usually behind the scenes.
Counting the money.
I was writing the press releases.
Okay.
So I was drafting the press releases that were going to go sent out that night. Maybe 2018. So I'm in the office area drafting the press release, and I literally watched the race on TV in the break room, and I get a call from Kevin Flannery, president, I think it's pouring raining, and he couldn't find his assistant, so he called me knowing I was sitting right outside his office and said, Mike, can you go grab a case of derby hats and bring them to me in the winner's circle?
Okay.
So sure. So I went down, grabbed the case of hats, start sprinting through the grandstands, down through the Paddock runway, and I don't even think I had the proper credentials, and I'm convincing some Kentucky State police officer, I've got to get these hats to the president.
Legitimately should be here, yeah.
And it's pure mud, so, running across the track and deep mud. I finally make it across the turf track, and I'm looking for Kevin. He's up on the pagoda stand with the winners, and find someone. It's almost like a very theatrical movie moment where there was a big hedge, a bush in front of me. So I'm, launching the hats over this, falling into the bush. To me, that was traumatic, but it was, I delivered the hats.
They made it there in time for the picture.
Yeah, I think it was Justify the one that year, but
there you go. Yeah. That's the year to be in. That was what one of the first Triple Crown winners in many,
it's the
many
last
years.
one,
Yeah.
2018. Yeah.
So, I mean, you were there. You were in the circle. You were there.
Yeah.
Yeah, delivering hats over the hedge. I mean, can you even think of what you would do, like what other career path you would take had this not worked out for you?
I've always wondered what I want to be when I grow up, and I still wonder. But probably so with my finance background in school, I probably would want to be a chief financial officer somewhere. Not sure that's going to ever happen again, but no, I'm happy where I am in my position, but probably a CFO somewhere, some company.
I think things have worked out pretty good for you.
They're
pretty good.
They panned out okay.
Down the road, what would you love to see? Do you have like a wish list of things with the Kentucky Derby and at Churchill Downs that you're like, oh man, I'd love to see this happen there. Or I'd love to expand it this way or try this. And when do you find the right time to present those ideas of change?
Change is hard at such a big facility. We have 2 million square foot of facility today, and we're about to break ground on our next big project, Victory Run, which starts right after this Derby. I've always wanted to have locations for everybody. So I grew up in the South End, and maybe like you, I couldn't afford to do certain things. And I'm still so tied to the community that I would love for the community to feel that joy of that day. Yeah. And I know that's not possible for everybody, but at some point in my, probably not in my career, but in my lifespan, to say, we could have representation from every socioeconomic class in Louisville, the South Enders, the West Enders, the East Enders, so everybody can feel it. And I know I felt it at the Derby parties growing up, but was never at a Kentucky Derby with a seat until
I had the walk-around ticket one year.
Yeah.
The $5.
Trying to take a peek at the horses on the track.
It was like $5 or $10 or something ridiculous where you could walk around, never have a seat, and never have I had so many blisters in my life. But that would be a great thing. And I think in many ways, I love the way that you all have expanded the week with offerings.
Yeah, that's
50 Tuesdays is the day that I feel like most Louisvillians, 502, it's our area code. And I feel
cheap general admission,
it's cheap general admission, but people feel like, oh, this is our day.
Yeah.
And I've heard that from so many people that they love it. And you want to get together with your high school friends or the kids you grew up with in the neighborhood, and you can actually plan a group to go on a day like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Sunday Fun Day.
Yeah.
Now
I love that.
Reopening on Sunday, what we haven't done since 2010. So there are lots of opportunities for the community to be part of that, and that's their Derby whether it's 5-0 Tuesday or Sunday or Wednesday or Thursday. It's great to see the local community embrace what we have, the special prize here. And I hope people don't take it for granted, because the Super Bowl was great, but it travels. It's not the same city every year. We get to have this world-class event every year in our backyard that creates so much energy for us. And I just hope people don't take that for granted, because it's a special place for a lot of people. And I'm lucky enough to get to drive to work there every day, that people pay hundreds, thousands of dollars for a ticket there.
Plan years in advance, a bucket list item.
That's right.
You ready for the lightning round?
Okay.
Yes, you are.
I guess I am.
Yes, you are. All right, here's your rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Morning workouts or twilight racing?
Morning workouts.
The Paddock or Millionaire's Row?
The Paddock.
A muddy track or a fast track?
Fast track.
This is a question only your daughters will appreciate. Seersucker or a classic Navy suit? What are they dressing you in this year?
Probably more towards the clean classic.
Yeah.
Navy.
The mint julep or the lily?
Mint julep.
Handicapping by the numbers or going with your gut?
Going with my gut.
The walkover or the winner's circle?
The walkover.
Favorite derby of all time?
I'm going to say my first one as an employee, 1997. Silver Charm. My first experience behind the scenes was just blew my mind.
There we go.
And got me hooked.
Well, here's to another derby this year. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Claudia. It's been a pleasure to be here.
Anytime. Love it. Thank you so much for watching the podcast. No matter where you're watching this right now, please leave a review, because that gets the word out about this particular podcast. So until next week, have a good one, everybody. Cheers.